College Football 27 just came out, and there are a ton of new settings and features that most players have no idea what is actually good. Here are 5 pro tips that will improve your game and result in more online wins almost immediately. My name is Wesley. I have been competing in Madden since Madden 19. It is actually my full-time job, and I have made over $700,000 in competitive tournaments. The first tip we're talking about is timing-based catching and why you need to have it on. So originally I was skeptical. I was like, okay, I don't want to have to worry about another thing while passing. I don't want to have time-based catching. I'd rather just have my receiver catch the ball. But they did add a downside to not having time-based catching. So I went in P mode last few minutes, got some clips for you guys. But here's just an example. As you can see, wide open throw. Number 13, the best receiver on Oregon, just drops the ball off his hands, and there's nothing you can do about it. Whereas if I was on time-based catching, I could have greened that or yellowed that and caught it. So let's go and go to our settings and show you what exactly you want there. So you go to your settings and you go to time-based catching. I have mine set to 5 yards for both on offense and defense. I use it on both sides. I think offense is a necessity. Defense is up to you. I prefer light on defense. I want to green time my interceptions, catch more picks, but you can also drop more picks by getting red. So keep that in mind. But either way, 5 yards, anything under 5 yards, just trust your receiver to catch the ball. Yeah, you drop under 5 yards, unfortunate. But every single catch now will either be a red, a yellow, or a green. And so with that, basically a red is a guaranteed drop. A green is a guaranteed catch unless the defender gets like a perfect hit on you, which is very, very rare for my time playing. And a yellow is basically a regular catch. I'm not kidding. I feel like yellows have the same catch rate as a catch without the catching on, basically. So all you're doing is giving yourself more chances to catch the football, and it is very easy to time. And we're gonna explain that now. Okay, so how do you time catches perfectly? How do you always get greens or always get yellows and not get reds? So it's very, very simple. The game rewards you for being early. So basically, the only time you're gonna drop a pass is if you hold the meter too long. So I held it too long right there. It's a red, it's a drop. So my biggest advice to you in learning how to green catch is release the button before they catch the football. So what I do is the ball is about to get there and I let go. Green. So you never want to be holding on to the button after or as the ball is hitting your hand. So like the perfect timing is literally letting go right before it touches the receiver's hand. And it gets to a point where I don't even look at the meter. I look at the football, not the meter, and it's super easy to time. I will almost never mess it up. You know, here is a one-hand catch where the meter is even smaller and it's still a green. So why one-hand catching matters, and the drops I showed you in the beginning, why they're one-hand catches. So one-hand catching in college football and Madden is more powerful than two-hand catching. You get better animations, harder to knock the ball out, you catch more passes. There is very overpowered, basically. So it's a very good thing. The only downside is your meter gets smaller, but again, it's easier to time. But you definitely want one hands in your game. As you see, I yellow that one, but it's still a catch. Whereas if I wasn't on the catching setting, there is a % chance that I drop that. And in college football and Madden games like this, you don't want to have any risk of dropping your open passes. What I recommend is going to offense only practice mode and practicing your timing. So what I would do is just have square on a streak right here and just keep throwing high ball one hands, because that is the smallest possible meter, and trying to green them. And again, the biggest thing you want to avoid is letting go late. If you let go a little early, it will be an orange, and obviously if you perfect time it, it will be a green. So basically your goal in these practices is just to not get any reds. You want to avoid reds at all costs. And obviously you can try varying distance on passes. The deep passes are harder, so I typically practice the deep ones, but if you want to get your entire game down, you can throw these little in routes and stuff. As you can see, super easy to green. I let go of that very, very early, and it was still a green catch. So again, you're going to want this part of your game. And if you get really good at it, you will catch passes in traffic that you would not have caught without it. And you can also abuse the one-hand catching feature that I think is the best thing in the game. And for those who don't know how to one-hand catch, all you do is as the ball is there coming to your player, hold L1. So the same way you high ball, you one-hand catch. So right here, I'm throwing R1, I highballed it, I hold L1, and then I hold L1 again for the one-hand catch. And guys, if you aren't one-hand catching, really, really start doing that. It gives you way better animations, especially on possession catches and aggressive catches. Racks are a little worse, but possession and aggressives, you get better animations and you will score more touchdowns. Okay, for our second tip, it is do not put safeties at linebackers. So last night, I hosted a $1,000 kickoff tournament on college football on regular teams, And in my first game, I played against a guy using the Oregon Ducks. I was the Texas Longhorns, and I was running double mug, one of the most popular defenses in college football and in Madden in years past. And I had safeties at linebacker, and I'm just going to let you watch these 2 plays in a row and show you why that is not a good idea. So we basically have 6 in the box against 4 receivers, and both my linebackers or safeties at linebacker just got absolutely pancaked by the O-line. My opponent saw that, no huddled, and ran the same run again on 3rd and 7 and watched the result. So I was like, okay, that was probably just lucky. No, the center absolutely lays me out again, and this time we weren't there to make a tackle, and that is a 79-yard rushing touchdown, all because I had safeties at linebacker. Okay, and here's a clip with me on offense from later in that same night in a $50 money game. My opponent was in the double mug, and I was noticed he had safeties at linebacker, and so what I do, I audible to an inside zone. As you can see, both his linebackers, or safeties linebackers, I should say, got absolutely pancaked. I noticed that. I no huddled immediately, and I was like, okay, we're running this again. That should have been a touchdown. Run it again. They both get thrown to the ground, and his other safety gets thrown to the ground, and this is a walk-in touchdown. Okay, so what do you do to counter this? So my first tip would be, on your defense, run the defensive playbook 4-2-5 man pressure. It has almost every skill formation in the game that you would want. Okay, so now that we are looking at this 4-2-5 playbook, what does it have that is so good that I want you guys to run this playbook? So for starters, it has 4-3 even 6-1. So this defense has been meta for a long time. One of its best strong suits is you can't really run on it. So there's a W right there. You can't run this formation. You also have dime, normal, and dime 3-2. So if you are playing someone that isn't running the ball, or if they're in a pass situation, you have dime 3-2, which is dollar, and you have dime normal, which was one of my favorite defenses in Madden 26. And then you go to the nickel, and that's where it's huge. So you have the double mug. And if I do say, if you are a double mug truther, just make sure you put actual Mikes, Wills, or Sams at these 2 linebacker spots. Do not put safeties there. If you have linebackers, they will not get pancaked at nearly the frequency. But what I would also recommend is going to this defense called 3-3 Cub. So 3-3 Cub, why it's so good in this meta is, as you can see, you have 3 down linemen in the middle. So there's no one for those 2 the 2 guards in the center to just run up into and pancake. And then you also have 2 linebackers on the outside and your user in the middle. So this is a very balanced defense that is also very good against the run. And then for linebackers, let's say you're playing regs like I would just go to my depth chart. Right now we have Georgia Tech, so I have no clues on their team. I would just go to Mike, and I would say, okay, who's our 2 fastest guys? It is Lightsley and Spalding, and these would be our 2 starters at middle linebacker in double mug. Or if you're on Georgia, a lot better, you would use Raylan Wilson and Justin Williams, who are great linebackers where you don't even need safeties at linebacker. So one thing when you're picking your regs teams this year or your dynasty teams, fast linebackers are more valuable than ever because they also jump this year. They don't have that. They can actually jump off the ground and they stop the run. They are the best players on the field. All right, guys, for our third tip, it is that reverse routes are back. So we're going to start with the running back, but I will say you can do this with every single motion player on the game. You just have to either audible, flip, or come out in the play instantly, and I'll explain how to do all 3. So first, we're going to start with flipping, and this is how you flip to get reverse routes. So for my running back, he is on a motion route, and so to get a flipped route, all I have to do is flip my play, and if you click his button as you're flipping, you can see my running back gets tight end hot routes. You see the deep cross, the wheel route, the zig route, the return, post, slant, all that. These are all not natural running back routes. To do it, you have to hot route him as he's in motion. So you'll see right here, I hot route him quickly. I flicked my right stick to the right, and now he is on a slant going to the right side of the field, which is one of the best routes in the game for your running back, honestly. So you'll see right here, he's on a slant. Obviously a terrible route combo right there, but he's on a slant route that will kill man coverage. It will kill backed off cloud flats and things of that nature. So right here, what we're gonna do is put him on a slant route going to the other side. So now you have a running back going on a slant to the other side of the field, which is glitchy in its own way because people do not expect the running back to be able to go to that side of the field like that way, especially with, I'm gonna show you guys this now, Texas routes are patched. This route sucks. Watch how bad he runs this route. That is the worst cut of all time. And Obviously, the slant route cut perfectly, but obviously there are other routes you can put him on. So, like this is a post route for your running back. Do I know how good this is going to be? No, but again, it gives you the freedom, a lot of extra routes, and a lot of glitchy things you could put your running back on to mess up your opponent and things of that nature. Okay, so now let's talk about wide receiver flipped routes, which might be more powerful than running back. I'm not gonna lie. So what you're gonna have to do is, let's take this play right here, bunch X nasty, motion flood H sneak, or motion cross post, same thing. So what we're gonna do is come out in a formation that the wide receivers flip in. So let's take trips tight end, for example. And if I audible to bunch, you would see that my receivers would then flip sides of the field. I mean, that makes enough sense because trips to bunch is a pretty far audible or for the receivers. So you can get flipped routes on this, because what's going to happen right here is, you see the outside receiver canyon is, you're going to go to bunch X nasty. I'm hovering over motion cross post. And as you can see, the B route is now canyon, and I can actually put him on a slot fade going inside, because I hot routed him while he's on the left side of the field and he ends up on the right side of the field. And obviously you can only do this with motion plays, but you know, this is why motion plays are so powerful. So now, I mean, you can have a cool route combo, you know, something like this, to where you have a slot fade going inside that your opponent has never seen before and isn't going to be ready for at all. And again, guys, you have so much freedom with this. This is just two examples of the running back and doubles flex, or wide receiver and bunch X nasty. But on college football, there are 1,000 shotgun formations that you could put this into, and you know, make crazy plays, crazy bombs that you know your opponent just has never seen before. All right, guys. So for the last part of reverse routes, I'm gonna show you how to do it in game without flipping, because it is possible. So we're in doubles flex right now. We're gonna call motion HB out. As you can see, it has a reverse running back route. All you have to do is instantly hot route your running back the second you come out in the play. So as soon as I come out in the play, I'm going to flick my right stick up and put my running back on a post route. And as you can see, instantly put him on a post route. And obviously, since he's on a motion route to the right, that is where the post route is going. And so now I have a crazy route from my running back that honestly gets amazing spacing and your opponent's going to be ready for it. So that is how you do it in game without flipping. And obviously flipping does unlock some other routes for you where you can get slants to both sides, but either way, you can also do it without flipping and still get almost every single route as well. All right, guys, for our next tip, it is going to be to abuse the ball carrier move, the stiff arm. It is by far the best move in the game. It's not going to work every single time, obviously, but compared to every other move in the game, you do break a ton of tackles doing this. So you definitely should start, basically, whenever you see a defender, just stiff arm and you will break a ton of tackles. I've played cut where 75 overall running backs have thrown me to the ground, and regs, little receivers have them to the ground. As you can see, I've played 2 plays with this North Carolina running back and I've broken 2 tackles. That guy's tackle supreme, so that guy's not going to get stiff arm. But most players in regs do not have tackle supreme, and as you can see, almost on a per play basis, we are throwing one guy to the ground. So if you're not doing this already, just whenever you see a defender, don't juke, don't spin, just hit him with a stiff arm, and you're probably going to break 1 tackle, and a lot of times 1 tackle is all you need to score. Actively trying to avoid that secure tackler guy. So right there, I broke about 3 tackles. So obviously, it works better with this running back. I think he does have very, very good stiff arm. But no matter who you're using, it can be Evan Stewart, who's 170 pounds. He can still stiff arm. Just like last year, stiff arm's the best move in the game to start the year. All right, guys, for my 5th and final tip, it is to go in the main menu, go to your settings, and go to your game settings, and then click left bumper and go straight to coaching adjustments. And set all of these right here so they are set for you every single game you play. And I'm going to be telling you all of mine and explaining to you why I have what I have set, and you can copy these and improve your game immediately. So tempo, I play on normal. I don't run no huddle, but if I was someone that wanted to run no huddle offense, no huddle tempo adjustments, very, very overpowered. It's just not how I want to play. The catching ones, just keep on balanced. I don't really like to mess with these. Blocking, balanced. Aggressive would give you a chance of getting a holding penalty, and conservative has no chance of doing anything for you. So keep this on balance, you'll be fine. Auto pass protection, I have mine set to base, but if you are in game and your opponent is stunting you, go to empty. But against most things, stay on base. But if you're in a game, you're like, okay, this Texas 4-man is coming in, just go into your coach adjustments in game, put it on empty, and it will stop coming in nearly as much. Untarget user defender. So what this does is on every single play, the game will automatically untarget the defender that your opponent is using. I have this set to off. If a pro was using this or knew I had this on, they would start user blitzing me a lot, and I don't really want to deal with that. So I choose when to untarget. I don't recommend this, but if you are playing at the lower levels of MUT, you probably won't run into people user blitzing you too much, so you could try it, but I recommend having it off. Ballcarrier, balanced, yeah, doesn't really do. Conservative doesn't work anymore, or I'd have a conservative. It only affects the AI now, so this honestly does nothing for you. Wide receiver helps scrambling quarterback. This is a new setting, and a lot of people probably don't know what it does or what to put it on. So if it's on aggressive, let's say you roll out to the right and you had a player on a curl route on the left. He will then turn his curl route into an in route to come then help you have an extra receiver to throw to. I have mine set to conservative because there's a lot of times where I kind of manipulate the pocket. So like I move to the right just so I can throw left. And I don't want my receiver to change his route and force me to throw an interception. So for how I play, I recommend having this cut off. But I mean, if you had a rollout scheme, I could really see where this is powerful and would be good. But I'm more of a pocket passer, so I have mine on conservative. All right, the next one is zone window awareness. What this does is, let's say you have a post route and your opponent is running cover 3. The post route will stop itself before it touches like the sideline to get underneath the deep blue. For me, it adds inconsistencies to my routes where I want my post route to always run the same every single time, no matter what. I want my curl routes, my post routes, every route in the game, I want you to run the exact same every single time. So I have this set to off. I recommend you have it set to off as well. Auto flip, I keep mine on. Certain defenses you'll want it off, but majority you don't. Cornerback matchups, do not touch this. Let's say you set it to speed. If you run zone, it's just going to glitch your whole defense. Please keep this on balanced. Defensive motion response. This didn't work last year, having it disabled, so I just have mine on default, and I will need to test this more in the future, but I'd probably just keep it on default for now. Defender aggression. I have mine to aggressive. So what this does is my pass rushers use more stamina points when they're pass rushing, so they get more tired. So in regs, basically just sub your D lineman in every now and then, and this will be really, really good for you. You'll get a lot more sheds. Gap integrity, aggressive. What this does is on the run, my defenders try shooting the run for me. They try hitting them in the backfield, and sometimes you get bigger runs, but what I've noticed is it really helps your defensive ends basically push the, not the pocket, but push the run back a little bit. It makes it harder for them to have a hole. So I like that. Conservative for all 4 of these. Basically, what this does is conservative is focus on the quarterback on the option so they can pitch it out. RPOs, you play the pass. Basically, everything conservative is focusing on the quarterback and focusing on the pass. So all the big plays to me, I'm conservative on all those. Balance strip, balance tackling. Cornerback depth, I keep it default. I thought this setting would be a lot cooler, but I don't really like, if I did set it, I have it at 7. But I don't really like having my slot corners 7 yards back, so I have it on default. And then my cornerback width, I have to wide. So this is basically the closest to baseline we can get, is having our cornerbacks play a little more wide, and I like it for making my deep blues play the sidelines a little better. Safety depth, 9 yards, safety width. Pinch, this is the same as close pinch from last year. Midpoint default, ball hawk, aggressive. So basically, the AI will go for interceptions if you don't click on. I like that because sometimes I don't click on because I'm not sure if I can get the pick or not, and the AI is going to go for picks now. So I like that. Zone strategy default. If you want to do aggressive and all things like that, I recommend doing that in game per play, not having every single play conservative or every single play aggressive. Plaster off. I don't really like this. So what I've noticed plaster does is my zones will then plaster the receivers, but I feel like it messes up my switch stick, so I cut this off. If you're not a big switch sticking guy, keep this on, and I recommend having it on probably conservative, but I mess up my switch stick, so I don't touch it. Zone drops, I do these in game. Man coverage default. Cover 3, match check versus bunch. I have it to zone it, and actually have it to trip to zone it as well. So all this is if I run a play with a seam flat, like SS blitz out of dollar. If I put zones, they're all just going to zone. They're not going to try and match. Or if I had it to skate, skinny, or skinny meg, they would actually try matching, and I don't want to do that, because if I want to run match, I just run quarters, which quarters, I just have everything at default, palms default, cover 6 default. And every single game you play, these settings do save, so you do not have to do them again. You can change individual ones in game, but it will always reset back to what these are on a per game basis. You are now fully equipped to start winning more games online, but if you want to take your game to the next level, go to the school down below where you get pro level advice from me myself, where I do full breakdowns of whatever my offense and defense is at the time. You will get access to all of my ebooks throughout the year, and my college football one is coming soon, where I will have a full macros, coaching adjustments, and route combos of every single thing you see me do on college football 27, so you can start dominating the competition.